What's up, YouTube? And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to apply and get approved for the Discover It personal credit card, right? And in today's video, we're going to talk about three things. Number one, who is this card for? Is this card for a beginner to credit? Is this card for a college student? Is this card for someone with established personal credit? Who is it for? And number two, we're going to discuss what are the expected credit limits for this card, right? So are we going to expect to get, a $500 approval or $1,000 approval, or even maybe a $10,000 to $20,000 approval? We'll talk about that today. And then most importantly, number three, we're going to discuss how to qualify and apply for this card today so you can get approved, so you can add an additional trade line or a high primary trade line to your personal credit profile. So first things first, let's jump right into it. Who is this card for, right? So with the Discover It card, if you guys can do me a favor, I'm right here on discover.com, and then you're going to go right over to credit card. And the first one you guys are going to see is going to be the Discover It Cashback credit card. And this is the one we're talking about today. So the reason why I recommend this particular card is this is a card that whether you are newly establishing your credit or you have a seasoned or thicker credit profile, it's typically easy to get approved for Discover. The only gripe I have about Discover is the fact that Discover is not available everywhere. It's probably, let's just say 95% of places will take a Discover card. It is 2024, so most places do take American Express, Visa, Discover, and any other ones that are out there this day and age. But, some places don't take Discover, but I'm honestly telling you guys, for you that are watching, you'll probably be able to, swipe your card anywhere. So this is a card that I actually started off building my personal credit with. And it was actually easier process than what most people make it out to be. So this card is going to be for your person who has, we like to say, excellent credit, right? So what we want is we want someone to come in with a 650 or more, ideally 700 and above. If you are watching this video and you're going through a credit repair process, or you have late payments on your credit profile, or you have any derogatories, collections, charge-offs, etc., even a bankruptcy, right? I don't recommend going to apply for this card until you have completely wiped your credit clean. And I know there's thousands of other videos available here in YouTube University that may say otherwise on what I discussed. However, ideally, if you want the highest limits, don't pre-apply for credit cards just to get a $500 approval, when if you simply waited a couple more months, you can go to $1,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 in approval, not only on this card, but majority of credit cards out there. So I would say this card is for someone who has a clean slate credit profile, maybe has a couple of primaries up there, one or two, maybe some authorizers or trade lines, but ideally your personal credit score is over a 700 with low utilization. So you guys, when you apply today, you can get the maximum limit, if not, some type of high limit. So it helps out with your comparable credit. So if you guys look at the screen here, one thing about this particular card, it gives you 5% cash back, right? So everyday purchases, different type of places, you get 5% cash back. And their reward system is pretty cool because you can do it right from the app, or you can do it online where you want to redeem. If you're, making payments on your credit card, you can actually use that as a credit. And it's Discover, so it's pretty cool. And then also you earn 1% cash back on other purchases as well. This card also does not have an annual fee, meaning that you're not paying $99, $50, or $695 like the American Express Platinum and Business Platinum, right? So no annual fee. So this makes this a free card. Also, you get unlimited cash back unlimited cash back match. Basically, get an unlimited dollar for dollar match of all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically. There is no limit. Now, I don't remember using this. I think it was available when I first got my card, so I can't give you guys the intricacies, but basically what they're telling you is you will get an unlimited dollar for dollar match of all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year. So what they're doing is they're enticing you to spend money on this card, so that way, they're making more purchases come to Discover. Because believe it or not, a lot of these credit card companies like Discover or even American Express, they're paid from the merchant themselves or the vendor themselves. So they charge them a little extra just to be able to take their specific cards. And that's why some folks don't take American Express, and that's why some places don't take Discover, but everybody takes, Visa, right? So also, one of the reasons why I like this card for anyone watching this video is because this card has a 0% APR, which means no interest for the first 15 months on purchases and balance transfers, and 3% intro balance transfer fee until March 10th, 2025. So at the time of this recording, we're starting 2025. This card is available for 0% for 15 months. Now, let me explain that to you guys really quick. So what does that mean? That means that if you apply, or when you apply and you get approved for this card, that means that in the first 15 months, you do not have any type of interest that you're paying. So any type of balance that you leave on the card, your minimum monthly payment, typically most cards are going to be 1% of that balance. So if you have $1,000 balance on a $5,000 limit card, typically your monthly payment is going to be $10, but some banks do have a minimum. So it could be 25, right? But that's important to know because every time you make a payment, it's going straight to principal, not to interest. However, what most people don't tell you is when you are making your payments on something that is 0%, if you miss your payment, let's say you have a payment due today and you don't decide to pay it until tomorrow, the banks are banking, no pun intended, on you to make a payment late. So that way, now that 0% for 15 months is now thrown out the window. Now on every purchase that you make, you are paying interest. So I always tell my clients, I always tell my clients to set up auto pay or pay your bill ahead of time. If your statement comes out and it said it's not due until 2 weeks from now, if you have the money available in your checking account, go ahead and pay it now. So that way you won't forget. So 0% for 15 months is amazing. That way you're not paying any interest. So let me show you guys that again. It's right here, intro APR. So who's this card for? Pretty much anybody who has a clean slate credit profile. I highly recommend this. Now, number 2, let's jump right into it, right? So what are the expected credit limits for this card? Now, because I deal with clients, because we do run a done-for-you personal and business funding company leveraging credit cards, term loans, lines of credit, SBA loans, etc. This is one of the ones we go to. And what I like about this card is if your credit profile is clean, utilization is low, when you apply and get approved for this card, I've seen limits start off at $5,000. Typically, I've seen start off at $3,000. However, based on comparable credit and your credit profile, I've seen this card start off at $15,000 and $16,000. Right? So just imagine you applying just because you see this video and you pre-qualify and you get approved for a $10,000 to $15,000 primary trade line, and it could be your highest credit card on your profile. Now you have that as leverage for when you're applying for other banks, their credit cards, because when it comes to comparable credit, they'll see that you have a reported $10,000 to $15,000 trade line. So what banks try to do is they try to up another bank and say, okay, well, Discover gave you $10,000, we're going to give you $15,000, or Discover gave you $10,000, we're going to give you $20,000, right? So use that as your leverage. Like I said, make sure that, you're coming in with a clean slate before you apply for this card. So what are the expected limits? Anywhere between 3 and 15K, from what I've seen. And that's amazing because it is a primary trade line. And also, great thing about Discover is this is a card, if you ever decided to add your child or a friend or a family member to for an authorized user trade line, they report very quick. Little Easter egg here for you. If you get approved for this card, and let's just say next month you add somebody to this card as an authorized user because they may want to establish or build their credit. One thing that I will say is once you add them as an authorized user, call Discover. They literally can add them within 24 to 48 hours, and it pops up on that person's credit profile as a new reported trade line. And it also backdates the history, unlike American Express. Okay. All right. Number 3, how to apply and get approved for this card is what everybody wants to know. So we're here. And so how you apply for this card is not, let me just go run and, apply and see if I'm approved because I'm in a rush and I got to get a credit card. I wouldn't do that. Like I said, to preface it, make sure your credit score is over 700, or if you are brand new to credit, you can do the secured version of their card, which typically they're going to ask you to put down 2 to 400 or 2 to 500, and then that card will graduate in about 6 to 12 months, and then they'll graduate it from secured to unsecured, and now you'll have an unsecured version of the card. But if you already have reported trade lines or your credit score is over 700 and you meet all the qualifications, here's what you need to do. Go to pre-qualify. Don't just go apply immediately. So once you're on this website, you go to apply now. Oops, I'm sorry. I did it wrong completely. What you're going to do is you're going to go to see if you're pre-approved with no harm to your score. So it's not going to be a hard pull at all. So you're going to go to check now. And basically what they're doing is they're going to tell you if you're allowed to be a customer of theirs or not, right? So you're going to go to the pre-qualified or pre-approval form, no impact to your credit score. First name, last name, middle initial is optional. What you want to do is you want to put all the information that you already currently see on your credit profile. We like to look at FICO scores. So FICO scores from myfico.com, FICO scores from Experian. By the way, Discover does pull Equifax. Or you can look at, we use a company called MyScoreIQ. Look at your credit profile before you apply for any credit cards. Look at how many inquiries you have and so on and so forth, because that plays a part, right? So you're going to put in all your information, address, date of birth. Are you a student? Yes or no? Answer it, appropriately. Monthly housing or rent payment, right? If you own a home, you can divide this between you and your spouse. If you own a home with someone, friend, family, relative, husband, wife, etc., you can divide it in half. If, let's say, for example, if your mortgage is $1,500 a month and you and wifey split it half and half, you can put $750. That does help with debt to income, right? So a lot of times people think when they put the most money up here, it helps out. It actually hurts you. So you want to kind of divide it. And if you are paying rent, put your rental amount. If you're living with mom and dad, put expected monthly rent that you should be paying, right? Total gross annual income, we always like to go with our stated income. So if you're working a job and you are making $80,000 a year, make sure you put $80,000 a year. One thing about Discover, because I know you guys will see, put projected income and all of that stuff. It depends on the bank. I will say one thing about Discover is they are known to pull a 4506T, which is your tax transcript, to verify your income, or they will ask for bank statements. So what I'd recommend you guys do, if you're making under 100,000, put the right amount. If you're making over 100,000, put the right amount, right? And then when it comes to card benefit, you can select whatever one you're looking for, probably select cash back. And then once you click this button here and you click check now, what's going to happen is it's going to run through the process, takes a couple seconds. They're going to come back with the offers that you are pre-approved for. Typically, if you meet the requirements, you're going to see a list of different cards. However, I always recommend going with the Discover It because it is 0% for 15 months, right? So that's how you apply and that's how you get approved. And one thing I recommend before you guys apply, see where your other credit cards are, because you can actually do what we call a credit limit increase. And what a credit limit increase on the other cards is, it will help out with getting a higher approval on this card. So for example, if you have cards on your credit profile right now and you haven't done a manual credit limit increase, I challenge you to go in, whether it's Chase, Bank of America, Truist, etc., go in and request a credit limit increase on those cards first. Wait until they report that new increase in credit line, and then you want to come back and apply for, this card here. So with that being said, now that you guys know exactly how to apply and get approved for the Discover It personal credit card, remember, this is not a business card. What I challenge you guys to do, below the video, leave a comment on your approval amounts, or let me know in the comments what other videos you would like to see me produce for you guys here on this channel. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can continue to give you guys more content based on the USA credit system. Chat soon.